We know it's getting ready to be football season. How's that? There's all this body armor and Kokomo gear behind me for Coca-Cola because this is now the 6th edition of the Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special right here on the ISC Sports Network. My name is Greg Rakestraw. Coca-Cola of Kokomo, they are a partner with more than 25 schools across north central Indiana. There's only so much time we have in these coaches and these kids' schedules. So we try to pick all around a dozen or so that are as close to Howard County as possible. So you're going to hear from coaches and players, from Carroll County, from Cass County, from Howard County, from Tipton County, from Miami County as part of today's show. We'll talk to teams that made deep runs in the tournament last year and those who are looking to bounce back from unsuccessful season. As the calendar gets ready to August, everybody is optimistic about what their season just might entail. We'll take this quick timeout. We'll come back. We'll start off the show by talking to a team that has been as successful as any in this area, that being the Carroll Cougars. They are 3-time defending sectional champs, and they've got their eyes on an even bigger prize coming up in 2024. Players and head coach Blake Betzner join us next as you are watching from the downtown Y in Kokomo, the Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special for 2024 right here on ISC. Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years' worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com. Thanks for joining us on the Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special. It is our 6th year of doing this on the ISC Sports Network, and we are very happy to have the young men from Carroll High School joining us here off the top of the show. To my left, it is Levi Watkins, Carter Mullins, and Coy Lytle to my right as well. Fellas, thank you so much for being here. Obviously, you guys have had a tremendous run of success, 32-7 over the course of the last 3 years. I guess, Levi, we'll start with you. What has it been like for you guys to have the run that you have currently been on?
It's been great, to be winning and just put a culture in the community. It's been great. Community's been great, and just love it.
Carter, if you look back at the last 2 or 3 years, what's kind of the highlight that you would point to as, of all those wins, what's been the most important to you?
I really think that we work well as a team. We're really a team thing. Yeah.
Coy, for you, what has allowed you and your teammates to get to this point?
I think just hard work. I mean, before this, we didn't win very much, and we knew that. And when Blake came in, we set a culture of working hard, and you have to work to get to where you're at. And if you're not the best 9 guys on the field, then you're not going to play. So.
When it comes to now 3 successive state championships, or sectional championships, you'd love to have 3 successive state championships, but 3 successive sectional championships, how do you take that next step? How do you kind of build from what you have done and advance it to the next spot?
You just got to keep working as a team and building a team relationship. Got to be comfortable with the guys you're on the field with,
Same question for you, Carter. Now, how do you kind of advance the ball even further?
Keep working. Don't stop working, and you'll get there.
Coy, what has the offseason been like for you and your teammates?
A lot of workouts, a lot of plays. Put a couple new plays in, so it's nice. And, we just got to work on getting faster and stronger for the better teams.
Don't reveal any of those new plays here, by the way.
Yeah.
Save that for when the regular season starts. Now, it's at a school the size of Carroll, you guys aren't just focusing on football. How many sports do each of you play?
I play 2. I wrestle as well.
Wrestle, what about you?
I play 2. I play basketball.
And?
I play 3. I play baseball and basketball as well.
So let's start with you since you play 3. How much are you kind of working on all 3 sports during the course of the summer? Is it all football? Once you get to a certain point, how do you handle that?
Lifting obviously helps with all 3 of them, of course. But, you have to space your time out. And obviously the sport that comes first is the one that's next, so it's football. But you try to space them out evenly to where you can play about all 3.
Carter, for you, how does football make you a better basketball player? Or how does basketball make you a better football player?
Lifting and plyometrics, really.
And then, Levi, if you're a wrestler, that translates pretty well to being a lineman. You're
Yeah.
wearing 72. That's pretty easy to figure out.
Yeah, that's actually why I picked up wrestling, was
Yeah.
to help me with my football, help me with the defensive side of things, the wrapping up, just all that.
How do you feel you're a better football player because of that? I mean, are there certain things you're like, all right, I know I can make this move because of what I do in the wrestling
Yeah, I
standpoint?
like shooting. Shooting was I used to not be able to do that at all, and now I can, and I think that'll help me with my tackling. And I'm always wrapping up and throwing in that, so that'll help a lot.
Levi, what are the goals you have set for this season for you and your teammates?
Hey, my goals go all the way.
Simple as that. Carter, what are you looking forward to about this year? What's going to make this a great year for you?
Keep going further and further, winning games.
Coy?
Go as far as we can. I mean, senior year, so it's the last ride, so try to get everything we got.
You guys had a phenomenal season last year, making it to the regional round for a third consecutive year. Fellas, congratulations on the sectional championship. Best of luck this season.
Thank you.
you.
We'll talk to the head coach, Blake Betzner of Carroll High School, when we come back, as you're watching the 2024 Coca-Cola Kokomo Kickoff Special right here on the ISC Sports Network. Joining us now, the man that is in his fourth year as the head coach of the Carroll Cougars, and they have won sectional championships each of the previous 3 seasons. Blake Betzner joining us, and the way we did the order, you had a chance to kind of hear what the guys had to say, and all of them said work, culture, workouts, etc. That's going to make a coach proud when you hear that from this group that you have now coached each of the last 4 years.
Yeah, it's been an awesome experience. Such a blessing to be in the community. To be able to be at Carroll, the kids that I get to work with every single day, they give me way more than I give them. So, it's just been an amazing ride.
Well, again, you've had some athletically talented kids because the success at Carroll has not just been in football.
Sure.
Your basketball team's been good. Baseball team's been good. Girls' sports have been great.
Yep.
So you've hit on that.
Yep.
But where do you feel you have kind of helped that along the way with your instruction and kind of the rules you set for your program?
We fell in love with the weight room. As soon as kids get strong, they start having a lot more confidence. They start learning what work ethic is. They start learning how to fail. So there's so many things that are taught in the weight room where there's a big banner that says, you might not like the weight room, but you might not like winning or playing either. So it's just something we fell in love with when we got here. And again, it's guys. Culture is built. You can put anything you want in place, but someone's got to take it and go with it. So the men we have that represent our program have just taken that responsibility of growing and doing all the things for younger kids, and they're the ones that really change things. We, as a coach, you just give them the opportunity to do it, and they've taken it, and it's awesome to watch.
All of these young men play multiple sports,
Yep.
whether it's wrestling, whether it's baseball, whether it's basketball. What's that like, especially in the off season where you're kind of sharing time with those guys? What is that like?
Yeah. I think at Carroll we do a really good job with our coaches, and we really talk to each other and allow kids to be able to do what they need to do and not feel like they're getting pulled. And that's why we have such good numbers. We're at 47 to 50. And the only reason we can do that is because all of us work together and we don't push and pull and make them choose. So it's something that at 1A school you have to have. You can't have guys playing one sport, or it's going to be rough around the whole. Every sport's going to take a hit.
When you had your hands on them in the summer, how did that go for you?
Really good. They come and work. Again, I've never been to a place, and I'll talk about Carroll up and down. I've never been to a place that just comes and works, and they get the job done, and you know what you're going to get out of them. Not many places work in the hog barns. A couple of these guys,
right?
They work in the hog barns before they come to school, so it's not too hard to get them to come lift weights.
It's kind of like what we hear about the service academies.
Yes.
Football is the easy part.
Yes.
You work in the hog barn. Football is the easy part of your day that you
You're
get to
exactly
do.
right.
All right, so you heard what I said. Obviously, leaded. You fared a way to win that sectional 3 years in a row.
Yep.
How do you take the next step from here?
Yeah, Adam Central being gone has been a
helps.
been
I get that.
a big positive, but it's you just keep doing what you do, and we've kind of talked about it before. And as a coach, your only goal, in my opinion, is to get every kid as many experiences as possible. Mm-hmm. So that's all I care about going into it. I want them to have an experience they love. If that's winning sectional, regional, semi-state, states, I mean, obviously our goal every year is to win a state championship. I think if you're a coach and you're a team and that's not your first goal of the year, I think that's that's what your ultimate goal is. That's why you do it, for that aspect of it. But I just want to give them as many experiences as possible.
Just to clear everybody in on the conversation, Adams Central was the runner-up each of the last 2 years in 1A. So they are now playing in the 2A level, hence the reference to the Jets no longer being around in terms of the 1A route. Your league is great every year. Obviously, we'll see the staffs from Eastern and Tri-Central that will be here. Sheridan's a great team every year. How are things shaping up in the Hoosier Heartland Conference this year?
Yeah, and it's exciting. When we first got here, I had a bunch of bullseyes on Eastern, Sheridan, Clinton Prairie. I mean, there was a bunch of teams that had beat us pretty handily the year before, and there's a bunch of bullseyes, and it's kind of turned that realm where our kids know. We talked about it Monday was our last day, and you don't think you're going to make some team seasons if they beat you. That's going to make some team seasons. So every night you go out, if you don't give your best effort, they're going to give their best effort against you. So we've really changed our mentality of trying to get to the top and how do you stay there.
13 games played each of the last 3 seasons for the Carroll Cougars. They have won 32 of them, including 3 sectional championship games. Coach, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Best luck again this season.
Appreciate it.
Stay tuned. We'll be back with more in a moment as you are watching the 2024 Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special right here on the ISC Sports Network.
My father's father had 2 brothers and a sister. His older sister, Hazel, had married a man named Jim Yunker, and he was involved in the bottling business early on, as early as 1906 in Indianapolis, and he sold flavors. He would have had grape, cream soda, blood orange, ginger ale. In 1915, he got the franchise for Coca-Cola in Indianapolis. So then we fast forward 20 years later to 1935, Jim Yunker approached my grandfather and his 2 brothers and said the franchises in Kokomo, Logansport, and Peru are available for sale, and you guys want this. Trust me, you want to get in the Coca-Cola business.
Welcome back. It is the 2024 Kokomo kickoff special presented by our friends at Coca-Cola of Kokomo. And literally, it is the Cats with a K that join us now. Head coach Austin Colby is to my right. Andrew Barker and Chance Duncan are coach to my left. These 2 guys to my right. Fellas, we'll get to you in a second. Coach, let's start with you. It is always good to see you. And
great to see you.
I know you're always fired up for the start of another season.
Super excited. Thanks for coming up and doing this again. This is a great thing. I'm excited that we're back and super excited for the season. It's been a great summer and looking forward to get started officially Monday.
Let's kind of work in reverse. The big change for you from last year to this year, and you knew you were right on that enrollment line in previous years. After a couple of years in 4A, now you're back in 5A. Maybe you're not thinking about that until October, but big picture, what does that mean for you?
Yeah. I mean, it gives us a bye week, week 10. We have a pretty rough regular season schedule this year in my eyes, with New Pal, Whiteland, and then finishing with McCutcheon and Harrison. So that gives us a chance week 10 to kind of heal up, and luckily it falls on our fall break, so it'll give us a chance to breathe a little bit, which is great. So I have no problem being 5A. We missed it by 6 kids, and that is what it is. But just excited for the fall break aspect in the bye week and give everybody a chance to refresh.
You're a 5A team. You play a 6A non-conference schedule because in addition to your league, at New Pal, at Whiteland, just what does those 2 weeks do for you getting ready for NCC?
It's going to show us where we're at, how good of a summer we had. That's for sure. A lot of people just don't understand. I mean, people who are involved in football know that those 2 games are tough games. And, Coach Fisher down at Whiteland has done an unbelievable job. And obviously Coach Ralph at New Pal is, you look at the last 10 years, they've lost 13 games. So I've definitely let the kids know what we're up for and what we're up against. And it'll be super exciting to see how we go down there and measure up with those 2 great programs.
Well, we talked to Carroll, and obviously at Carroll, you've got almost every kid's a multi-sport kid. You have some of those, maybe even more that I'm giving you credit for. But when it comes to the summer, usually you can pretty much hone in on your guys and focus. How's your off season been?
It's been great. We've had a great group. We have a great group of seniors this year, which helps. These 2 guys were voted team captains by their peers last winter, and have done a great job of getting everybody there. And we've had an unbelievable summer in my eyes. We've had a lot of places where we need to grow, and I think we've done that. We saw Western last night and saw some good things, saw some bad things. So we still have an opportunity to grow, which is a good thing. You don't want to peak too early, and I think the summer's been just what it needs to be. We have our guys there that need to be there, and then a lot of younger guys have showed up. We have 81 kids in helmets, which is awesome for Kokomo. So just hopefully we can keep it rolling.
And let's brag on your facility. Whether you're 4A, 5A, again, like your non-conference schedule, it's a 6A place to play. That is a jewel. Do you get the sense that your kids have the appreciation for it as well? They should.
I think they do. We take real good care of it. Our locker room is now 15 years old, and you walk into it and people think it's brand new. So we take really good care of it. You have to when you got a nice facility like that. Things don't last if you don't take care of it. So they love it. I think we're fortunate enough to be able to practice out there every day, and we don't share it with anybody. They do play some soccer games out there, which is great. And to be a football stadium only at Kokomo High School it's amazing.
All right, Austin, hang tight for a second. We'll get back to you again. To my right is Andrew Barker and Chance Duncan. Fellas, first of all, thanks for being here. And obviously, Coach said, hey, you are selected by your peers to be a leader, to be a team captain. What does that mean to you, Andrew? We'll start with you.
I think it's really important to have your teammates vote that, just because I feel like they have a more personal understanding of who you are as a person when they play with you on the field. And I feel like you're around that person more in the classrooms and all that. So having them trust you to lead a team is really important to me.
Chance, what does the leadership role mean to you, and how do you try to go about setting the tone every day?
I mean, it means a lot to me. As far as day-to-day goes, just being the guy that will stick out from a group if we're not doing too well, picking them up if we're struggling defensively, picking us up that day. So just being a leader,
When you go back to last year, Andrew, what's kind of the highlights for you? What told you that last year was a good year for you and your teammates?
I think it was a good year. Starting off the season strong, winning those 2 games that people thought that we would lose. We were playing good competition with Leo and Whiteland, and I think starting off the season strong and beating both of them really kind of set a tone for the rest of the season.
Chance, what are some of the goals that you have set either personally or for the team for the upcoming season?
I mean, I think this team is talented enough to go win a state title, honestly. I think this team reminds me a lot of the 2022 team, which we made a great run in. And in 5A, it's big-time ball, but I think we can do really well this season as a team. And
Andrew, any sort of individual goals that you have set for the upcoming season?
Not really individual. It's more kind of just a team goal of trying to make it as far as we possibly can. Because I know a lot of people are still upset last year. We lost in the sectional, and I feel like this year a lot of people want to make it past that, get past regional, and just see how far we can go.
Chance, this is obviously a community that has always been great about supporting their own. We have obviously seen that in basketball, the success the last couple of 3 years. What's been the community support been like for the football team?
I mean, I think it's been amazing. Just seeing the home crowd come out to our games on Friday nights and just feeling that energy from the crowd, it's great.
Guys, thanks for the time. Hang right here. Coach, back to you. A couple quick questions. We'll let you go.
Yep.
You're going to still play McCutcheon and Harrison, but obviously the league now looks different.
Yep.
You're going to play your league games week 3 through 7.
Yep.
What's kind of your thoughts on how the NCC is shaping up this year?
Yeah, we're still kind of looking for a couple teams to add and to expand. It's tough to fill a football schedule without a full conference in terms of without an 18 conference.
Sure.
Or more, or maybe a few less, but. I'm excited. McCutcheon and Harrison, we're used to them. We've seen them in the past, and, we know what they're about. Coach Peebles and Coach Strasser over there have done a good job, and, it's just going to be a good test weeks 3 through 7. You know what you're going to get with Marion Anderson and Muncie and Richmond and Jeff. They're going to be good athletically. I think our conference has gotten a lot better coaches in it the last few years, which is going to lead to good football, and, we didn't have near the turnover. I think Richmond's the only school with a new coach this year in our conference, so that's a great thing for the NCC, and anytime you can have good ball every week of the season is going to be, good for the team.
And I'm glad you bring up Richmond because, people will look at your sectional and go, my goodness, South Bend. And I go, well, Kokomo's used to driving to Richmond every day. That's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Your thought, again, 2 teams you know very well and one you wouldn't normally cross.
Yep.
Again, just kind of how things were redrawn. Your thoughts about sectional play?
Yeah, I mean, South Bend was kind of a shock. They're going to drive by Warsaw on the way down, but that's how the IHSA does it. And we don't know much about South Bend Adams. They had a kind of a rough year last year, but maybe they have a lot of kids returning. I don't know. I don't know much about South Bend football. I know traditionally there's been good football up there, and you can't overlook anybody that time of the year. We went over and played Jay County last year, who had a couple wins, and we beat them 21-14. So it was a rough, tough, rainy night and cold, and we just didn't come out and play well. And so you just can't overlook anybody that time of the year, and you never know what you're going to get.
But the way you play football, rainy nights can be a good thing.
It gives us a chance, that's for sure. Anytime we're playing in the rain with what we do, it gives us a chance, that's for sure.
Good to see you, buddy.
Hey, thanks. Good
Guys,
to see you.
best of luck this coming season. Again, the Kokomo Wildcats going to join us. Back with more in a moment as you're watching the Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special right here on the ISC Sports Network.
Many communities in rural America are often overlooked as underserved. These communities are being left behind due to lack of internet and access to state-of-the-art technology. That's why Mulberry Telecommunications provides rural broadband services and technology and is growing their presence in north central Indiana. Because every community deserves infrastructure and beyond. To learn more, contact us today.
Welcome back on the 2024 Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special right here on the ISC Sports Network. Now, during our break, head coach Shane Arnold of Tri-Central was pointing something out that I found interesting and thought about. He and I have been a part of all 6 of these, and again, it shows you how things change. There's not that many coaches that have done all of these.
No.
It was always good to see you, my friend.
Yes,
how
sir.
are you?
Good.
When you look back at last year, you made a sectional championship for the first time in a while. You won 5 games, most you've won in 2 or 3 years.
Yep.
Just what made you most proud about last year's group of Tri-Central Trojans?
The heart and fight and determination that the kids showed. We had a rough start, went through some adversity, had a good team meeting as we faced that, and boy, we come out the other side of that fighting, showed a lot of heart, made a good run at the end of the year, played really good defense, controlled the ball, limited our turnovers, and then ran into the buzzsaw in the sectional championship that was Carroll. I mean, Coach Betzner does an amazing job, has a machine up there running right now. So we knew it was a tall mountain to climb, but we was very blessed to get the opportunity to face them in that big game.
Now the question is, how many of those young men you had last year, how many come over now to 2024?
We only lost a couple off of last year's team. We're probably in the range of 27 to 30 kids, so numbers have been that way since probably 2013, 14. Being at a small 1A school, you fight that every year. The good thing with this year is our numbers may not be many, but they are very, very good at what they've done. They've put in the work this summer. They're well versed in what we want to do. They've spent the time in the weight room and the core, and our fall off from 1s and 2s to 3s and 4s is not as big as what it's been in the past.
All right, so with that, and again, this is the third different program we've talked to here on the program. Carroll, again, also in 1A, they're on the 50 range. Obviously, Kokomo, they've got 80 kids at the 5A level. You're practicing with 25 to 30 most days. And what you do in the off season, different from what you do in the regular season.
Yes, sir.
But say during a given week, with those sort of numbers, how does that affect what you can do, what you want to do from a practice standpoint?
It really doesn't affect us much because our kids take pride in what they do, so we don't have a lot of kids setting out for nicks and bumps and bruises. They show up every day to work, so we're very blessed in that our kids are hardworking kids that take pride in what they do. So when we show up, we break up in our stations and our groups and individuals, and we put in the work. And as we break it down individually, and then we come to bigger groups to where we eventually end up in teamwork. As long as we don't have a bunch of injuries to where we can't play 11 on 11, we won't see any issues with that.
All right, so with that, I'm going to ask you an end of October question, knowing that July is just turning into August.
Yes, sir.
As we're having this conversation. Seemingly every team we have talked to so far has talked about a change in their postseason path.
Yep.
You mentioned running in a team that you know very well in terms of Carroll in the sectional last year. If my math is correct, you wouldn't see them until the semi-state round this year if it plays out that way. So some familiar teams, but some Indianapolis teams now in your sectional. How does sectional 46 shape up for you?
I really, we was just talking about it behind the scenes with some of the other coaches. When you've been in this business as long as I have, you kind of come across some things. So I have never coached a game at Cloverdale, and they're in our sectional. And I always find that to be intriguing.
Yeah.
We have 3 conference schools in our sectional, and then we have 3 schools that we have never seen before. That to me, that makes it very interesting for us to work at.
And as the guy that does all the pairing shows, sometimes I have to recalibrate the math in my head. You wouldn't see them until the state championship game. You're the southern half of the bracket in 1A. Once you say Cleveland, wait a minute, do the math on that again. Yes, so just to tell you folks, Carroll is in the northern half of the 1A bracket.
Yep.
Tri-Central, well north of Indianapolis, is in the southern half of the 1A
Yes.
bracket. Sometimes it's just the way it works out, but you'll worry about that when you get to October. Tell me about the
Yes,
two
sir.
young men we're about to talk to here.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about these two guys.
Jacob Klein and Tate Streeman are 2 great leaders. Been very blessed to have them. They're like a part of my family. They are my leaders. They take control of our practices. They run my weight room. They definitely run our core system. They have done a great job. Just an example, we have camp week this week. We have all of our youth kids out there, and those 2 young men beside you are leading these young kids, teaching them, taking extra time, staying after, coming early to help walk them through, talk them through, and answer all the questions and all of that. And you know, when you have youth kids like that, they want to sign autographs and they want to do this, and it makes these kids feel like, you know, they're NFL guys, but these guys are very humble, hardworking. You won't find 2 kids with bigger hearts. Those 2 right there are the 2 young men that you would want your daughter to bring in and say, this is the guy I'm going to marry. They are those top-notch character kids.
That's pretty high praise as I turn to my right and talk to both Jacob and Tate. Jacob, why is playing football at Tri-Central? Why has it been important to you? And you know, again, at a school where numbers are always an issue, why was football always something you wanted to do?
I've been playing football basically my whole life, and playing football at Tri-Central, I mean, we have little numbers, and every guy that we get out there, I mean, we just treat them like family. So getting everybody that we can out there is just great, and it's great for your high school career.
Tate, same question to you. Not just why is football so important to you, but why is Tri-Central football so important to you?
It's very close. So we're a family. We can depend on each other. We can work with each other. It's not just a couple individual people. We're all as one.
Jacob, you heard Coach talk about this, and you were a part of it. You went from a 5-game losing streak to a 4-game winning streak. What kind of change at the end of last year for you and your teammates?
We just all started clicking. We all started playing as a team, and we did have some complications going on for the first half of the season. But we got those changes figured out, and once we all got it together, we all started playing as a team, and we all played for each other, not one another.
Tate, at any level of football, it is rare that you go a month without a loss. What was that experience like for you and your teammates?
It was great. We had to stay humble, but we knew that the work we were putting in would eventually pay off, and we were able to make it to that sectional championship.
Jacob, what was the offseason like in terms of the work you guys have put in to get ready for the upcoming practices and games?
With the little numbers, I mean, you got to get everybody in there, man. And, like, if you don't have those numbers, it's hard to get guys in there. But with the guys that do come in and work, those are the guys that play on Friday nights. So it's just nice to have all the people that can show up be there.
Coach was talking about camp week. The young guys are in this week. Tate, what's it been like working with those youngsters?
It's been great. They show out and they're learning, and it's been nice to spread the knowledge of football we have gone through the past 4 years, and it's been fun.
Jacob, what are some of the goals you set for this coming season?
I want to get back to the sectional championship for sure, but I want to have a great regular season and just everybody be happy with how the team's doing and not where they're playing at on the field. And if they're on the sideline and that's their job, then and they're happy with it, just as long as the team's success is very high.
Tate, what's going to make this a good senior season for you?
A lot of seniors together. We're all as one. We work together. We don't really just have a couple guys that are showing out. We're all coming to work, and we're all ready to play this year.
Guys, congratulations on the success at this point, and best of luck your senior year.
Thank you.
Coach, always good to see you, my friend.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
The Tri-Central Trojans joining us. Stay tuned. We'll have more when we come back as you're watching the 2024 Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special right here on the ISC Sports Network. We have gotten to the Tipton County portion of the program because we had Tri-Central on last. The Tipton Blue Devils joining us now. To my left, the head coach now in his 20th year at Tipton High School. It is Aaron Toll. Dallas Capshaw, Calvin Condict wearing the special number 87. There is great meaning in that number in that program. We'll talk about that coming up in a matter of moments. These guys will join us in a few. Aaron, it is always good to see you. Just how has the offseason been to get you here to the start of practice?
It's been a good off season, I think. Kids are really working hard. We've got a bad taste in our mouth from last year. We did not have a great season last year, and the good news is we've got a lot of kids back. We've got a good incoming group, and we're kind of excited to get that bad taste out of our mouth. So we're kind of chomping at the bit, to be honest.
No schools like 2-9. That is very rare, as you well know, having lived the program.
Yep.
With Dad. Well, obviously, what you've been doing there for the last couple of decades. What lessons do you kind of learn from last year and apply going forward?
Well, to me, last year was just it was a trifecta. We had very small senior class.
Yeah.
So we had very little experience. We played one of the toughest schedules we've played in 15 years. I think in our 9 games, we played 3 teams that were undefeated. And then we ran into the injury bug, which of any of my 19 years, last year was probably the one we could not afford it. And so when all those 3 things happened, we ended up 2-9.
Yeah.
On the good side is we gained a ton of experience. We've got a bunch of starters back from last year. And I think they have the same mindset that I do. They didn't. It wasn't Tipton football last year. It wasn't fun. And like I said, we want to turn things around. And kind of the motto that we've kind of had in our weight room and at workouts this summer is we want to be the most improved 2A team in the state.
And you may have that opportunity. Seemingly, as has been the conversation, if it's not a sectional change, it is a conference change, and it's very much a conference change to your same conference, but some pieces have moved. What does the conference look like for you guys this year?
It has changed quite a bit. So in the last couple of years, in the past we've had an East Division and a West Division, and in the last couple of years we've lost 2 teams. and we've only gained 1. So now we have an odd number, so it doesn't work out for that crossover game week 9. So now basically we are playing almost everybody in the conference. So this year we play everybody but West Lafayette and Logansport. So we're back to playing Rensselaer, Benton Central, Twin Lakes, LCC, Western, Hamilton Heights, all those typical teams. So
and I'm sorry, Coach, and something in looking at your schedule too that jumps out, kind of the way that it's sectioned. You play the first 3 games away from home. After that, you got 5 of your last 6 going to be in front of the home fans.
Yeah, that'll be nice. We're kind of excited. Our opening game this year is again at Indiana Wesleyan, which last year was my first time there. Incredible complex. It's a great experience for our kids to go and play in those kind of places. So hopefully the outcome is going to be a little bit different this year. But we go to South Adams, we go to Indiana Wesleyan. Then we go to Elwood and Twin Lakes. So essentially we have 3 road trips, and like you said, we get back to playing at home, and hopefully we can get some early wins and kind of be on a roll when we come back home.
Tell me about the 2 young men we're going to talk to here in a matter of moments.
2 seniors. I'll talk about Calvin first. Calvin has been he's been a mainstay for the last 3 years. Got banged up his knee as a sophomore, but was well on his way to being an all-conference player as a sophomore. Was an all-conference football player for us last year. He's our best player on offense. He's our best player on defense. So our success is going to revolve around him this year. Hopefully we can put more and more pieces around him to kind of support him, which I think we have the ability to do that. So Calvin's had a great career. Dallas played quarterback for us last year. And I've said it numerous times, Dallas probably got put in the most difficult position of any player I've coached in 19 years, to be honest. We had a 2-year starting quarterback that was coming back was for his senior year. Got injured, didn't take a snap. And Dallas got thrust into that position. Did not have a ton of experience, but I think he learned valuable lessons last year. And I've told him this numerous times. We didn't have anybody on our team that played harder than he did last year. So if we can take those lessons that he learned last year and add that to the motor that he plays with, I think he can have a great senior year.
I know that you want every young man to feel like they have earned wearing the Tipton on the front of their shirt. The Blue Devils are the number they have. But the number 87 that Calvin is wearing has specific significance in your program. Tell us that story if you don't mind.
Well, when Dad moved us to Tipton in 1981, there were not a lot of traditions. Tipton football wasn't very good. So one of the traditions he brought in was we have a senior night at the Rock where the seniors get up and speak to basically their teammates and to their coaches, and basically they talk about why Tipton football is important to them, what it has meant to them over the last 4 years. We have a small fire there. Everybody, you are required to burn something, and then the head coach goes out the following day and we spread the ashes around the Rock, and that's supposed to mean that, yes, you are graduating, but there is a part of you will always be here. So kind of a cool thing. So one of those traditions that we have on senior night is that numbers get passed down. So you don't have to, but you have the ability to pass your number down. So number 87 was a wide receiver number when I was in school. Actually, the person he coaches for me now, Eric Pierce, wore number 87. He was a receiver as a sophomore. My dad moved him to running back. Well, when it was his turn to pass down number 87, he's now a running back.
Right.
So ever since 1989, essentially, number 87 has been our tailback, and we've looked really, really silly on film. I get asked that question a lot. So 87 is a very cool number, but there are a lot of other numbers in our program that get passed down also. Number 2 is typically our quarterback. Number 81 has always been a lead wide receiver. Number 65 is one of our better linemen. You can go on and on and on, but just one of those kind of cool traditions that have been around for about 40-some years.
You may think it looks silly on film. It's a great story once you tell it, and everybody thinks it's wonderful to do that. So number 87 is Calvin Connick. Number 3, again, is Dallas Capshaw. Guys, thanks for the time. And Dallas, let's start with you. Obviously, you were kind of drinking from the fire hose last year, having to learn on the fly. How does the struggles of last year make you a better player now this year?
Just learn how to, consume knowledge on the football field. I think I really learned how to do that stuff on the fly, and I think a lot of our team did that because I wasn't the only one that didn't have very much experience last year. So I think practices have flown by with knowledge and stuff like that. I mean, I think our defensive coordinator, he literally said the other day at practice, we can go out and go play a full game on defense right now. Our offense is shaping together, but I think we could honestly go out and play a game right now. So being that far ahead with the experience we have now is really, really helping us.
Dallas, one of the things that you will hear rookies in any sport talk about is like literally as the season is going along, it feels like the game is slowing down for them. Did you kind of experience that in real time last year?
Yeah, definitely. You learn how to maneuver the pocket, especially as a quarterback when you're just now coming in. You don't really know how to do that, but I definitely learned how to do that more often and how to extend plays and stuff like that. So, yeah, I do think the game really slows down once you got more experience.
So, Calvin, we spent some time talking about the origin story of that number. Who passed that number down to you?
Eli Carter.
Very cool. What does it mean to you to have that number on your chest as we're sitting here having this conversation?
It means a lot. Usually 87 is one of the better players on the team, and he's also like the leader of the team. So, I mean, it means a lot that Eli chose me for that number.
How do you feel you try to go out there and lead? I'm sure it's a combination of saying the right things and doing the right things, but I guess just your thoughts as to are you consciously thinking about that when you're in a practice, game, et cetera?
No, I mean, I just go out there and just work my hardest every day, and I think that the people around me see that, and I think it just pushes them to work harder. And I'm not a very vocal person, but I just grind, and hopefully everybody around me sees that and works harder too.
Same question for Dallas. How do the struggles of last year, how does that make you a better person, better player this year?
I mean, I've always got a bad taste in my mouth, so I always like to remind people that we did go 2-9 last year, and we can't have the. I mean, we practiced a lot better because we put in a lot more effort. I mean, last year's team did put in a lot of effort, but I think this year's team is just on top of it. I think it's 100% effort every practice. It's really, really physical practices already in the summer, so I think this team definitely has a different mentality than last year's team.
Calvin, same question for you. How do you learn from last year and apply to 2024?
We went through, I think we all learned how to deal with adversity last year with all the injuries and stuff. And so we didn't like going 2-9 last year. So it pushes us all to work harder and like Dallas said, every practice has been physical and 100%. So hopefully it leads to a better year.
Dallas, what are some of the goals, whether it's individual or team, that you've set for this coming season?
Our goal every year is to win a sectional, and that's really we're really highlighting on that. I think if we our sectional is tough, but I think if we have a hardworking team that we definitely have the potential to do it. We just got to work hard and out. Honestly, we just got to win every practice against the team in our sectional. So,
Calvin, what's going to make this a good season for you?
Like Dallas said, every year we want to win a sectional. So, just working towards that goal, having a winning record.
Very good. Guys, congratulations. Thanks for the time, Coach. Always good to see you. Best of luck this year.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Tipton Blue Devils joining us during the Coca-Cola Kokomo kickoff special. Back with more in a moment on the ISC Sports Network.
Hey there, I'm Jake Query.
And I'm Derek Schultz.
Derek, do you know what we do not have in common with Ted Lasso?
What's that, Jake?
We made it beyond 3 seasons.
Oh, we're going to make it like 30, 40, 50 seasons. As long as your heart holds out, that is. Query and Schultz every Tuesday night. You can watch it right here on the ISC Sports Network, on our YouTube channel, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, X, podcast, whatever it is. Just call it whatever you want.
Twitter doesn't exist.
Just make sure Tuesday nights, Query and Schultz, 7:30, all season long right here on the ISC Sports Network.
We outlasted Twitter.
We did.
Welcome back on the Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special right here on the ISC Sports Network. My name is Greg Rakestraw. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks to Charlie Hammock, Vince Morales, Jordan Shue. Thanks to Brandon Bishop, the great folks at Coca-Cola of Kokomo that make this show possible each and every year. And the good folks, the Downtown YMCA in Kokomo, that serve as our host facility for this. We are joined by 3 members of the Northwestern football team. Joey Wilson is to my left, Brock Shank and Chase DeWitt to my right. Fellas, thank you so much for joining us. And kind of for the first time that we've had these conversations today, you guys are playing for a new head coach. And I know Caleb well from his days at Hamilton Heights and Marion and at Ben Davis, but obviously it's been a learning process for you. What's it been like getting to learn about Coach Small this offseason?
Coach Small is a great coach. He's taught a lot through just his new scheme. We're running a new gaps game, so it's going to be great to run that with him.
Brock, what has impressed you about Coach Small so far?
I think one of the things that really impresses me is just how he's gotten our conditioning a lot better from last year. Because if you notice from last year, a lot of our games, we'd stay with him in like the first half. And then as the game goes on, we'd eventually start just dropping with cramps and injuries and anything like that.
Conditioning's not fun, but winning is.
Yeah, that's for sure.
What has the work been like that you've been putting in this offseason?
Awful. Absolutely dreadful. 40-40s, ladders, anything you can think of, we ran it. Hills, I think it was like 10-10s, 10-20s, 10-30. It's awful, but it's definitely nice seeing us in shape compared to last year.
Chase, your thoughts on what the process of learning new coach, new staff, et cetera, what's that been like for you?
It's like better. We're starting from the beginning and working our way up, starting all the new drills and learning hand placements and stuff, and not just going in there and just practicing. We're restarting and getting everything back.
It's been kind of a slow process for you guys. You guys have improved your win totals the last couple of years. I know not as many as you want, as you kind of laugh about it, but 3 wins a season ago. When you guys look back at last year, are there high points, favorite moments that you point to? We'll start with you.
Although I think we didn't win that game, I think we definitely had a shot against Western and should have beat them if we played better. But it's just a few couple of drives and need stops on defense, which I think we will do better at this year.
Chase, has there been a highlight to this point that you're most proud of? I know you're trying to set new marks this year. I get that. But to this point, what's been your favorite accomplishment or part of being a Northwestern football player?
Just working with my team and building new connections with different players like the freshmen, and just working together and trying to win some games.
Joey, what's going to be the key to success this year? Obviously, your teammate talked about conditioning has improved for everybody. What are some of the things you're kind of setting from a goal standpoint the rest of the way?
I think the big thing that's going to lead to our success is going to be discipline, overcoming adversity. We've had a ton of that, like Brock said, through conditioning. You have your hand over the line, you're probably going to run about 5 more. So you got to learn from your mistakes and just get over the hump.
I heard one coach on a different sport when he said that conditioning when you're a brand new coach, the phrase he used was shared pain. I see the smiles on your faces. You guys understand that completely. Brock, what's going to make this a good year for you?
I think this is the best senior class we've had in a while, and just having like everyone be on the same page of what our ultimate goal is, which is go undefeated in the regular season, then continue that into.
I'm sorry, Brock, go ahead.
No, that's fine.
Chase, I know that Northwestern has had success in multiple sports over the years. Frankly, there's been success in football in the past. What does it mean to you to try to be part of that group that kind of reestablishes that at Northwestern High School?
I mean, it feels good. I hope we can have a winning record this year and not lose as many games as we lost last year, but with the new coach, I think we got a good shot.
Guys, thanks for the time. Good luck on those conditioning drills the rest of the season, and good luck getting more victories and losses this year. Thanks, fellas.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. We'll talk with the head coach and Caleb Small from Northwestern High School when he joins us, and we come back on the ISC Sports Network. I have old man moments now every day, like when I look in the mirror. One of them is having somebody who I called his games in high school and college, now being a high school head coach. And this is somebody I'd have a conversation with, seemingly before about half his football games last year, because we broadcast so many Ben Davis games. Former offensive coordinator at Ben Davis, but now returning closer to home, and the new head coach at Northwestern High School. It is Caleb Small. It is good to see you, my friend. What has the return home been like for you?
It's been awesome. First of all, thank you for having me on and hosting this event. This is awesome. Being at Northwestern since January 29th now.
Yeah.
It seems like a long time, but we've gotten a lot accomplished in that amount of time. We've invested a lot of time into ourselves, getting to know each other as players and coaches, new staff members, some new players and new faces that we spent a lot of time in the weight room. We competed in the Lewis Cass lift contest at the end of February or at the beginning of March in that range. That was kind of the first time that we were together and doing what we talk about all the time and competing. And so that was a good start. We finished the year off with the spring sports and getting on the practice field in the mornings. Some of that was not liked initially,
Right.
but I think they're seeing some. They're seeing the fruits of their labor, if you will, in that they're having some success. They're in shape finally, and it's going to pay off for us. I know it is. And the kids have been great. They've been very, very accepting of everything that we've tried to do, even if it's a little bit different. And that was a challenge that I gave them, day one, the first time I met most of them, was that, what's been done in the past isn't wrong,
Right.
but this is the way that we're going to go. And this is what we're going to do. And if we don't accept and we don't dive in and not put our toe in the water, but if we don't dive in and fully commit to what we're doing, it doesn't matter if I'm Nick Saban. So, that's kind of the direction we've had. We've had a really good summer. We competed a bunch in June. And then in July we did the not so fun thing so we can have fun in August type thing. So it's been really good, and I'm proud to be there.
There are things that are obviously vastly different from a talent standpoint, going from the 6A champs and Ben Davis to coaching at the 3A level. But there are fundamentals that absolutely do transfer over. So what part of the Ben Davis experience do you want these young men to have at Northwestern?
Well, I think, there's not as many.
Sure.
Obviously, there's not as many kids. There are some really good players at Northwestern. We've had a couple new faces come out as well that are going to help us as well, that have a lot of talent. But as far as the game of football goes, and then as far as being around kids are kids. There's not as many again, but there are talented ones. There are not so talented ones as well, and we love them the same. We try to coach them all as hard as possible now to make their lives easier on a Friday night when all hell breaks loose. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, it's fun to watch them grow through times of toughness, times of things aren't very easy, and watch them kind of come together, and that's the whole part of it.
Well, it's not easy being a high school coach. What is a little bit easier now is your commute. You're driving from the north side of Hamilton County all the way to the west side every day. Even though you're putting in a lot of hours, you feel like you got some time back in your life, the way things kind of worked out?
Yeah, there's that. The drive for sure. I'm not sitting on 465 ever again for right now.
Caleb got stuck listening to me on the radio a lot. Back
Yeah,
in the day.
absolutely.
A lot, absolutely.
And so, and the other thing is being a head coach, you get to make your own schedule. So that kind of helps our family. We've got two little ones at home, and they require my attention just as much as these guys do, and we try to do a good job as far as my wife and I making sure that our kids are, put first, and that drive definitely helps. It helps our timing.
I know when you are establishing a culture, maybe this year more so than future years, you're not as much worried about the other guy. You're worried about what you're doing. That being said, Northwestern's in a kind of new league for them, and these are a lot of teams that you really have not much experience with. So what's that learning process like as you get closer to those other 9 opponents that start on August 23rd?
Yeah, so we've got a couple common foes in there with Lewis Cass, McConaughey, and Peru.
Yeah.
Those are knowns for us. We know where we're going when we show up. We know where our locker room is. But our first game we traveled to Manchester. We've never been to Manchester, and quite frankly, I've never been to Manchester. So there's some unsettled stomachs that come with the unknown.
Sure.
But there's also some excitement that comes with that, and I think it'll be a good growing experience for us initially, especially of just seeing some of these new opponents and meeting some of these new coaches and working with them in the Three Rivers Conference. We're excited to be a part of it.
What is going to make year one a good year for you, Caleb?
We want to reach our potential. I said that from day one, that success for me is determined if we can get to our potential. If we don't get to our potential, I believe that's a failure. But if we can get to or exceed what I believe is our potential, which would include winning, I think that's a successful year for us. And that and establishing our norms. And this is who we are as a program. This is who we stand for, and this is what we are. And that's really what we've been about since we've gotten there.
I'm going to miss seeing you on Friday nights, covering so many Ben Davis games on television, but I'm so happy for you, man. Best of luck, and hopefully I see you down the road later this year.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you for having me.
Caleb Smalligan, the new head coach at Northwestern High School. Stay tuned. We'll come back with more in a moment. You're watching the 2024 Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special right here on the ISC Sports Network.
My father's father had 2 brothers and a sister. His older sister, Hazel, had married a man named Jim Yunker, and he was involved in the bottling business early on, as early as 1906 in Indianapolis, and he sold flavors. He would have had grape, cream soda, blood orange, ginger ale. In 1915, he got the franchise for Coca-Cola in Indianapolis. So then we fast forward 20 years later to 1935, Jim Yunker approached my grandfather and his 2 brothers and said the franchises in Kokomo, Logansport, and Peru are available for sale, and you guys want this. Trust me, you want to get in the Coca-Cola business.
Well, we are thrilled to be joined by the Comets of Eastern High School here on the 2024 Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special on the ISC Sports Network. Things have been good in the eastern half of Howard County in football. They are coming off of 7 consecutive winning seasons. Joining us now is the offensive line coach in from my buddy Josh Edwards. It is Craig Standish and seniors Braylon Ward and Keaton Musgrave joining us as well. Fellas, we'll get to you in a second. Coach, filling in for Josh, had a pre-scheduled appointment, so understand he could not join us. Craig, thank you for spending the time. Let's kind of talk about you. How many years have you been a part of the Eastern staff now?
I've been at the Eastern staff about 10 years,
Yep.
Working under Coach Edwards the entire time. It's majority of my time spent with the offensive linemen and talking to Josh about some offensive schemes and play setups and things like that.
Well, obviously, you've been a part of some really good teams over these last few years. When you first got there, it was a little bit of a down period. What kind of got things turned around, and what has kept you at that point?
I think the commitment that Coach Edwards has had. He is an Eastern Greentown guy through and through. Went and played football at Taylor University, coached at Tri-Center for a couple years, had the opportunity to come back home to his alma mater, and he is an all-in guy when it comes to Eastern football. He and his wife run the youth program as well as the high school program. So, Jen Edwards, appreciate all the work you've done. But just his commitment and his leadership and getting the kids to buy in. One of the biggest things that's been a benefit lately is Josh taking over the weight room at the school. That is critically important. He's officially only done it for 1 year, but just getting the kids to buy into the weight room in the off season and when they're not doing other sports has been instrumental in what we're doing.
Let's talk about numbers for you guys. How many kids are you going to have on your varsity roster this year?
We're we're at about 50 kids right now. In the summer, we had 90% participation in the summer weightlifting program. So we're very excited about the upside of what we have at Eastern this year.
Let's talk about a subset of that 50, your senior class. Tell me about your seniors.
We are the two of them represent right here with Keat and Bray. We've also had some returning all-conference guys up front. We're returning essentially our entire offensive line. With Mr. Cavazos and Mr. Fuel and leading the way. So very excited about what they are bringing to the table. Very deep in the secondary as well. Super excited about what the young men are gonna bring as far as leadership.
Obviously, in the Hoosier Heartland Conference, we already had a couple of schools in the league up here, so we know Sheridan's going to be here. Carroll has been on a heck of a run. How do things kind of shape up for you in the league this year?
Well, it's really interesting, Greg. As I was sitting back there watching, I'd forgotten. We had 4 schools from our conference last year in a sectional final. We were in the sectional final against Bluffton, Tri-Central, Sheridan, Carroll. And so this conference is pretty competitive. And so you know that every year Sheridan's going to be good. Carroll's had a really nice run. Coach Arnold does a fantastic job at Tri-Central. So we have to be ready week in and week out to play in that Hoosier Heartland Conference.
All right, you're going to play, and I love this, kind of scheduling up a little bit from a size standpoint, and some of it's just available opponents, but you play in a 1A, 2A league, playing a couple of 3A teams the first 2 weeks. I like that. One of them we just talked to in Northwestern. What's those Oak Hill and Northwestern matchups look like for you?
Well, it's great that we can get – those are backyard rivalry
Right.
games, historically going back to the 50s and 60s with Oak Hill on one side and Northwestern on the other. So very excited to keep them on our schedule. Oak Hill – traditional, really solid football school, and really interesting to see what Northwestern brings to the table. I'm hearing really good things about their new coach in the community. Seems like he's a good guy. He's done a really nice job in the offseason. He's got the excitement back over there. So we're going to have our hands full right out of the gate with 2 very intense and traditional rivals before we get into the regular conference program.
All right, tell me about Braylon and Keith. Tell me about the 2 young men we're going to talk to in a matter of moments.
Braylon, one of the leading receivers in 2A last year. Honestly, probably could have been considered for junior all-state team. He was, like I said, one of the top 5 receivers in 2A. He is the spark on offense and on defense, plays with a lot of emotion, super athletic. He's a plug-and-play type of athlete. We can put him as a shutdown corner. We can put him over the middle of safety. We can put him in the slot. We even play around putting him in the backfield some. His vision for the field is unbelievable. The cuts he makes because of the way he sees the field, I don't know that we have anyone else in the program right now that can see that ahead of time and make those decisions. So really excited about that. And then we bring in Keat, middle linebacker, a quiet leader, but a leader physically on the field. He can play a little bit of quarterback. We can put him in the slot, but he's really going to shore up our Comet defense, playing that middle linebacker position. And as a downhill linebacker, he'll come up and put a lick on you. So really excited about what he's going to be bringing to us.
All right, Coach, thank you very much. Stay right there. Again, we'll talk to both Braylon and Keaton now. Guys, thanks for your patience. Thanks for joining us. And first of all, we'll start with you. Just your thoughts about the kind words that Coach Standish had to say about you.
I say a lot of kind words back to him.
Even though he's not your position coach, right?
Nope. Every coach is my coach.
All right, so I like that. I like that mindset. All right, so he talked about playing both ways. Do you have a preference in terms of side of the football that you get to play?
Offense, definitely.
Yeah?
Yeah. I like playing offense, but defense is kind of like I just go out there and I lead the people to help them make the plays out there.
Keaton, is it flip side for you? You're more of a defensive guy first?
I'm a defensive guy for sure.
All right. You guys are, and Keaton, we'll start with you on this. You already talked about, Coach, 7 consecutive winning seasons.
Mm-hmm.
What's it been like for you guys to kind of keep that winning tradition going at Eastern High School?
Yeah, I think because Coach Edwards gets everyone to buy in on the winning, and it just really helps to get us going, make us want to keep competing, make us want to keep working hard, make us want to keep winning. Yeah.
Braylon, same thing for you. It was the group before you guys got there that kind of got the program turned around. You've kept it going. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot. Honestly, it all starts in the weight room in the summer. You got to bring that intensity, and if you don't, then don't show up.
How is it different for you going into your senior year, where you're taking on more of a leadership role? How has that changed your mindset heading into this season?
It's definitely different. I would say I got a lot more of like things I got to worry about, and there's a little bit more pressure, but I think in the end it'd be all right.
Keaton, for you, have you consciously tried to be more of a leader on this team now that you're a senior?
Yeah, definitely. Just trying to coach up everyone else around you, make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, making sure they're always in the right place, just trying to make sure everything goes smoothly.
Braylon, if you're a difference maker as a wide receiver, somebody has to get you the football so you can be a difference maker. So who's throwing it to you this year?
It's a sophomore. His name's Gibby. We call him Gibby.
Yeah.
He has a great arm. Great arm, great vision, so I'm excited to see where it goes.
Keaton, we'll start with you on this. What are some of the goals you and your teammates have set for this year?
Winning in November. It's a big goal for us. We haven't been able to get it done. We've made it to the sectional championship just this last year, but we really want to get it done and take the sectional home. Also, pick up the conference again. We've been out for the past few years, but it's time to bring it back.
I would assume similar goals for you?
Yeah, definitely winning in November is a big one.
All right, sounds good. Guys, thanks for the time. Coach, thanks for standing in for Coach Edwards. Appreciate it. Best luck to the Comets all season long.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, Craig Standish, Braylon Ward, Keaton Musgrave coming up to join us. Stay tuned. More comes your way next here on the Coca-Cola of Kokomo kickoff special right here on the ISC Sports Network. Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years' worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com. Welcome back on the Coca-Cola Kokomo kickoff special right here on the ISC Sports Network. The Western Panthers joining us now. Players, Kyler Norman and Matthew McKittrick. But the new head coach is Blake Conklin, part of the staff last year at Western High School, but now changing roles. So what is it like getting used to having head coach always precede your name in a conversation?
It's interesting. I don't really know if it's even 100% sank in yet. I think it'll definitely really sink in probably that first game week, because it's the coaching's coaching. That really, honestly, the only thing different is obviously more responsibility. It's kind of the non-coaching stuff that I've really had to get used to. But like designing the workouts and calling plays, that's definitely been a huge change. But mainly it's the non-football stuff like this that's really been the big change. Coaching's coaching.
Obviously, Alex had been there a pretty long time
Yes.
at Western. What do you kind of hope to, I wouldn't say learn from him, but kind of carry over from his days as the head coach?
A lot as instilling toughness. We've always kind of prided ourselves on being a tough football team, specifically with the offense that we used to run with Alex, and we want to take that toughness that's been instilled in the program and continue that carrying forward and transfer that into the new stuff that we'll be running this year.
I know that one of the things that is different for you guys is classification.
Yeah.
Back down to 3A. And I
Yeah.
realize you're worried about August right now and
Yeah.
not October, but just knowing that maybe it's a different caliber of team you're playing at the end of the regular season, what does that mean to you?
I honestly haven't even thought that far ahead. I could not even tell you who is in our sectional. Honestly, and I know that they're probably laughing about and I've coached Kyler in multiple sports. I've coached him in basketball, and he knows that I know the least amount about the goings on of Indiana high school sports than any coach in the state. And I've kind of lived by there's only two teams that matter, us and our next opponent. And when sectional time comes, the draw will come out and be like, okay, that's who we play.
You'll know, yeah.
And then that's who we'll play.
All right, folks, I'll tell you. I literally, you see the laptop here. I have the Western schedule in front of me. And I saw Coach Collin kind of staring and goes, oh, that's what our schedule looks like. Okay, you're focused on your team.
I knew week one. That's it. After that, I wasn't 100% sure. I knew some teams in there, obviously, because we play them every year. But the exact order, I honestly did not know. I know that we play Tri-West, an extremely good program. Week one, and that's kind of been the focus in my head.
We asked this question to Coach Toll when Tipton was here. Obviously, your league, like a lot of leagues, have changed over the last couple of years. How you do things are a bit differently. So now it's kind of more small school, big school in your league. What does that mean for you?
Again, a tough schedule. Like I'm looking on there, you see West Lafayette right there. They've obviously been the class of our conference for a long time. And outside of that, getting to play Twin Lakes kind of every year will be interesting. I don't think we've played them for a couple of years, but outside of that, we play Heights every year. We're still playing Tipton, so it doesn't really change. That much.
All right, tell me about the senior class you've got this year.
Senior class, we got a great senior class. Kyler Norman, senior. Starting quarterback. He's been a starter since he was a freshman, so he's been through the battles. And I think this year, what I've seen so far is the budding leadership from these seniors who've been really kind of chomping at the bit for that chance to be those senior leaders and to see them steadily grow into those leadership roles that will only grow further as we progress throughout the season.
Before I talk to the players,
Yeah.
what are the things that you can do as a coach and coordinator when you've got a fourth-year kid at quarterback? That is a luxury that not many people have. What does that allow you to do?
Absolutely. Even though he's played quarterback in his life,
Sure.
He hasn't really played it really since his freshman year when he was kind of getting some reps on JV before he finally got the full call up. So just his understanding of football, his football IQ, his understanding of what we're trying to accomplish offensively, and just his ability to see the field and understand what's going on. Specifically, he's also a secondary guy. He plays safety and corner, so that knowledge is beneficial as a quarterback to be able to understand, watching film. Okay, hey, they're in this coverage. When we want to throw the ball, this pass will be open, and things like that. So just having that knowledge base from all those years build up and playing on the other side of the ball.
He's reading offenses and defenses.
Yes, absolutely.
With that, we'll transition over. Kyler Norman and Matthew McKittrick joining us. Guys, thanks for the time. And Kyler, we'll start with you. Obviously, you've known Coach Conklin forever. What's it like having him now as the head coach?
Well, I think it's different from new head coaches coming in.
Sure.
I think all of us as teammates, we're blessed because he's been in the program for years, so he has that knowledge and everything. And also, like he said, I've been with him through basketball too, so I've known him ever since I was a freshman. So me and him have a great relationship, so with everything he's doing, I trust everything he does.
Matthew, same question for you. You know Coach Conklin, you just don't know him as the head coach. What has that been like for you and the other guys as he maybe makes a step, say, one seat to the left or one step up, so to speak?
Honestly, it's been great because a lot of the other coaching staff also returned from last year, so it's not a whole lot of change, in my opinion, except the new offense.
All right, so new offense obviously going to directly impact you. Without giving away the farm here, what are you guys looking to do a little bit differently offensively this year?
We're just, I feel like trying to spread it out more. Last year, I feel like it was just right down the middle. You kind of knew what was coming. It was just a tough offense. This year, we're trying to balance it out, use our playmakers, our athletes, and just work not just one person or two people, but also work multiple people.
Are you still planning on quarterback and playing defensive back at the same time?
Yes.
Again, at a school your size, it's not that uncommon, but that's a lot of work. What is a game night like for you, knowing there's not many plays off for you?
It is a lot of work. I got to prepare myself. I got to get the right sleep. I got to eat right. I got to have the right prep. I do all that. So I feel like with all that, I take my time and do it real well. So then as I go into game time, I'm prepared and I'm ready.
Matthew, what's going to be your role for the team this year?
Running back and Will linebacker.
Yep.
And I'm excited. It's a lot of hard work playing both ways, but I could get it done.
What does this new offense mean for you?
Just a lot more space. We get more speed and space. Our playmakers get the ball in space so we can, use the speed to our advantage and stuff.
Definitely.
Matthew, I'll start with you on this one. What are the goals that you and your teammates have set for this coming season?
I'd like to be All-State again, rush for however so many yards. But honestly, I just want to win, go deep in the sectional, win the sectional, keep playing.
By the way, let me repeat that. He said All-State again.
Yes,
so give me the plaudit to make sure our viewing audience knows the award you won last year.
Last year, my sophomore year, I was the Indiana Football Coaches Association All-State for the juniors. But
quite the honor. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Kyler, what are some of the goals you're setting for this coming season?
I think this year, also with Matthew saying All-State, I want to do that. Also, our team winning a sectional, that we haven't done that in a while,
Yep.
and it's not as common. And I think also a big goal for us is just with like a new offense, new coaches here, I just think getting every single player to like play their part, not just one person or two people going out there, just everyone doing their part. And I think that's when we reach our max potential and we'll win games.
Guys, congratulations on what you've gotten to this point on that award as well. Best luck this coming season. Coach, congrats on the new gig, and best of luck to you and the Panthers this year.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it.
Blake Conklin, again, head coach at Western High School. Again, a couple of the key players joining us, too. Stay tuned. Back with more in a moment right here on the ISC Sports Network.
Many communities in rural America are often overlooked as underserved. These communities are being left behind due to lack of internet and access to state-of-the-art technology. That's why Mulberry Telecommunications provides rural broadband services and technology and is growing their presence in north central Indiana. Because every community deserves infrastructure and beyond. To learn more, contact us today.
Well, we're thrilled to be joined by the North Miami Warriors, and Joe Grant, kind of like Coach Arnold, Coach Toll, has been with us every year that we have done this show. Year number 6 here on ISC. Joe, it is always good to see you. Just how was the offseason? How was your summer? How ready are you for the start of the next football campaign?
Hey, appreciate you having us. Always a pleasure. Appreciate what you guys do, giving our kids some exposure. But no, summer's been going great. I'll say this: in my years here at North Miami, this has been our best summer. We'll talk about the kids, obviously, but last year when we were here, we had 8 combined juniors and seniors. This year we have 21 combined juniors and seniors.
That's a lot different.
It is a lot different. So our depth is, we got one sophomore that's going to be starting varsity for us. His name's Logan Smith. He's a heck of a ball player, good kid, great family. He's our only sophomore that's probably going to be, playing a whole lot of varsity. But our juniors and seniors, we're hanging our hats on these guys. These are the 2 groups we've been waiting on them to be together. And, I appreciate everything the kids and the parents have done. They've stuck with the program. They've stuck with me. And, so we're sticking with them. And we're excited for this year to really get some things rolling.
It's easy to go back and look at last year and see 2-9 and think, not much happened, But, again, because at your level, so much is dictated by the numbers you have, the bodies that you have, the available talent. When you look back to that group, what are you most proud about?
Last year, once again, 8 combined juniors and seniors. Boys, help me out. How many seniors do we have last year?
We may have had both of them on the show last year.
There wasn't many.
Yeah.
4.
4, yeah. 4 was close, yeah.
Bryce, Preston, Isaac.
Yeah, and, and so and those guys, I tip our cap to those guys because without them and doing what they did last year, we wouldn't be in the position where we're at. And so, looking at last year, only winning 2 games, but we were in some ball games, and we played Northfield, who's our week 1 opponent this year. Yep. We played them week 9. We lost 18-8. We had 5 turnovers. They scored 2 touchdowns on 2 of our turnovers. We played a heck of a ball game if we didn't shoot ourselves in the foot. So we had things like that, and you look out there on the field, and heck, we had 7 sophomores starting, and we were banged up. Cody sitting right next to you played with a torn ACL. So what the guys did last year, showing the grit, and this summer, like I said, just the positivity and the guys' literal belief. We got guys that when we left camp in June, they're going out there saying, we're a good ball team. We're going to win.
Yeah.
So, that's what I'm proud of, the attitude that they brought from last year into this year and the hunger. So we're just jacked up.
If I have my scheduling right and my geography right, the league for you, the Hoosier North, is relatively new, correct? How has that transition been?
Yeah, so this will be our first year. So we have 7 opponents that none of our kids have ever played.
Yeah.
Did you guys maybe play Caston or Pioneer in middle school? Maybe?
Nope.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so we got a couple teams geographically, Caston, Pioneer, and Winnemax not far, Culver's not far. But then you got
South Central Union Mills is not close. I know where that's
going to
at,
a couple different time zones.
Right. Literally.
Yeah, but no, it's exciting. The conference we're going into, I think Judson's the biggest school by far. They kind of flirt with that 1-2A. They're a heck of a ball club. But it's new, it's exciting, and it'll look different, but we're excited for the opportunity. It's a great conference we're going into, heck of a conference.
All right, tell me about these two young men we're getting ready to talk to.
So we got Cody Wan right next to you, number 22. He's our fullback. I told you a little bit about he had an injury last year, and the thing about that is nobody really knows when it happened. His knee was banged up even week 2 when we played Sheridan last year, and we knew something was off, but we don't know if he injured it then and then really tore it later. Sure. But he wrestled too then. Wrestled all the way up till his surgery. I think even when they got the surgery scheduled, I think he said, "Hey, Mom, I think I can wrestle in the meet this week." And she's like, "Don't you have surgery on Monday?" So he's that kind of kid. He's a kid that's been with us through these last 4 years. He's seen, hey, we were 1-9. We had a good turnaround. Then we got a young group again. He played through an injury. He's done everything we've ever asked. We love him. He's a beast in the weight room. Moved him down to D-end this year. He's been a linebacker his whole life. And we said, "Hey, you want to play D-end?" And he goes, "Yeah." So he's that kind of kid. So then we got Lake Musall, plays wing back, tailback for us, played middle linebacker last year. Moving him to outside backer this year. A lot like Cody. Absolute stud. You look at him, Lake, what do you weigh soaking wet? 165 maybe right now?
Yeah.
The dude runs the ball hard. I'm talking he's any big hit we had last year, Lake Musall was involved in it. He's a guy that sets the tone with the edge on the field with his physicality. He's the kind of dude that we hang our hat on. So once and 3-sport athlete there, both these guys multi-sport guys. So they're at North Miami. That's what you got to do.
Right. Understood. All right, Coach, hang loose. We'll talk to Cody and Lake now. So Cody, obviously you got a very unique story to tell. At what point last year did you say, "Hey, something's not right with my knee"?
Probably week 1, quarter 3. Ended up, I thought I subluxed my knee.
Yeah.
But I guess I probably tore it that game. Played till I couldn't in the 4th quarter, and then had to go out towards the end.
By the way, he's using words like sublux there.
That's impressive.
Yeah, he's got a pretty high GPA.
That gets my attention. And so at what point in time do you realize I've got to have surgery on this? Yet you kind of kept going. So kind of walk me through that timeline.
So I had been playing with it. I obviously knew something was wrong because it's hard to run sometimes.
Sure.
But then it started hurting less and less once I got to wrestling season. I was able to wrestle without any pain at all. But I was feeling pain when I would lift weights. So then I went to get the MRI, and obviously the worst came, torn ACL, and had to get surgery. But I still wrestled through it.
Surgery was when for you?
December.
And are you back at full speed now, ready to go for week 1?
I was back 4 months probably.
And no pain, no issues now.
Mm-mm.
Very cool. I wouldn't recommend that path, but still remarkably tough that you got to it. Lake, let's start with you. You heard what Coach had to say. Just your thoughts on having so much more experience on this team than, say, last year's.
I think this year will be a lot better than last year. So we got a lot more people and people that know what they're doing out there.
Yep. Cody, what's going to make this a good year for you and your teammates?
I think morale's higher than it has been in a couple years just because we got a bunch of new guys that they quit during middle school, came back for senior year, so we're all friends. It's going to be high morale. It's going to be a fun year.
Lake, what are some of the goals that you have set for this coming season? What's going to make a good year for you?
I'm hoping to play better as myself and as the whole team and get us more wins on the board this year.
Cody, you heard what Coach had to say in terms of the schedule. You guys are playing a bunch of teams you haven't seen in a long time. Any sort of thoughts on that?
I have a feeling we can have a good game against anybody we go up against, anybody they set up against us, even if we haven't played them. We'll learn throughout the week and then hopefully be ready by Friday.
Lake, I know that, again, a lot of the pride – I went to a 1A school as well. We were too small to even have football. But a lot of the pride in wins and losses are great. Having a team representing your community, that is a big deal. To have that NM on your chest, what does that mean to you?
Everything. You just got to go out there and play for your school and everybody out there for you.
Cody, final question, same thing. To represent North Miami in multiple sports, football and wrestling, what has that meant to you going into your senior year?
It means a lot. A lot of these kids you see, they come up to you. I don't even know half of them, but they know you just because they watch you
Right.
play football. And so it's nice to be an inspiration to kids.
Guys, thanks for the time. Keep that knee healthy, so you don't have to go through that again this year. Coach, always good to see you, buddy. Good luck to you and the rest of the guys this season.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Stay tuned. More comes your way next right here on the ISC Sports Network.
Hey there, I'm Jake Query.
And I'm Derek Schultz.
Derek, do you know what we do not have in common with Ted Lasso?
What's that, Jake?
We made it beyond 3 seasons.
Oh, we're going to make it like 30, 40, 50 seasons. As long as your heart holds out, that is. Query and Schultz every Tuesday night. You can watch it right here on the ISC Sports Network, on our YouTube channel, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, X, podcast, whatever it is. Just call it whatever you want.
Twitter doesn't exist.
Just make sure Tuesday nights, Query and Schultz, 7:30, all season long right here on the ISC Sports Network.
We outlasted Twitter.
We did.
Well, welcome to the Cass County portion of the program here on the ISC Sports Network. We are thrilled for the first time on this show to include the Logansport Berries because they are the newest member of the Coca-Cola of Kokomo family. Now, head coach Mike Johnson unfortunately could not join us today, but he's great about sending 2 of the top players in his program, 2 great leaders on his team. To my right, it is Tate Strong. To my far right, Chris Del Valle that joins us here. Guys, welcome. And Tate, I'll start with you. And all of us that kind of work in the IHSAA media, we know your dad very well. As part of the IHSAA Executive Committee and Athletic Director Brian at Logansport High School, we at ISC are lucky enough to get to do games at the Berry Bowl all the time. We were just up at Logansport at Jim Turner Field for the Greater Lafayette World Series. So we feel like we know Logansport well, even though we're just kind of meeting you guys for the first time. So you literally grew up around Logansport football. What's it like wearing that Logansport across your chest and representing the Berries?
I can say I wear it with a lot of pride. I've always looked up to it, and it's something that, you know, you wear, and you're going to represent your community everywhere you go, and you just feel special wearing that. It just feels good.
Well, you guys have a great facility, great facilities across the board that you play at. What's a home football game at Logansport like for you guys?
I think it's. I mean, I think we were one of the first schools in Indiana to get a turf field, and I mean, we love it. It's awesome. You can play in the rain. You don't get muddy, and then when it is, we do have stormy days. And if we have practice after school, if it's bad, we can go in the barn and practice in there. And you know, we love it a lot. It's great.
Chris, what does it mean to you to be a Logansport Berry?
It means a lot. I just like playing for the community, and I enjoy it a lot. I do. I think it means a lot to me. I wear Logansport with a lot of pride.
Tate, you're playing for a legendary head coach, and Mike Johnson obviously has won a state championship at Pioneer, kind of started the program there, made the move to Logansport. What has it been like playing for him these last few years?
It's great. We just, you know, you have a lot of respect for your coach, and especially someone in the, you know, Football Hall of Fame, someone who's had such a great record, and he knows our offensive wing tee so well, and it's just like you just like absorb it like a sponge. You know, he just knows exactly what he's talking about, and you just gotta. You might think what you're learning is stupid, but you better know it's correct because he knows what he's talking about.
He's got the wins to back it up. You guys are getting ready for practice coming up. You know, the opener against Peru. People may not know the history of the Logansport-Peru rivalry. You both smile as soon as I say it. So, Chris, we'll start with you. What sort of emphasis is put on that opening game because of the history between those two programs?
I mean, there's a lot of pressure. I mean, everybody wants us to win. Obviously, the fans. It's always a packed-out game. There's always really good fans at our home games. A lot of Logansport fans, and then Peru always packs their stands too. And so it's just a really high anticipated game, and everyone's ready for it. And I think it's a lot of fun.
Tate, obviously the big story for you guys is you're changing leagues. So a lot of the Peru's your traditional opponent. Everybody else in your schedule, really, there's a whole lot of new. Just how much have you and the guys been kind of talking about that heading into the season?
It's been one of our main focal points. We want to I guess set the tone. Like we don't want to go into a new conference and be nervous. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're the biggest school here, so I guess the pressure would be against us now. So we're really excited to play with the new schools, and I think they'll give us a really good challenge.
Chris, just kind of your thoughts as to, new opponents, new rivalries, things like that you guys will experience for the first time this year.
I think we're excited. I think we're ready. Obviously, we're looking forward to hitting the new conference and seeing what we can do. So yeah, we're pretty excited, ready to go.
All right, Tate, what position do you play for the team, or positions?
I'm more of like a rover between linebacker and safety, and then I also play some running back for us.
Chris, what about you?
I play running back and outside linebacker, or Mike sometimes.
Yep, the wing T offense that, again, coaches know it. Folks in Cass County know it so well, going from Pioneer to Logansport. What is the key to making that offense go, Tate?
It's repetition.
Yeah.
If everybody knows what they're doing, if you run the play right, it's impossible to stop. So.
All right, Chris, goal for this year. What's going to make this a good year for you?
For us, our goals is obviously to win the new conference, and everybody wants to win their conference. Everybody wants to win their sectional, and we just want to have a great season, a memorable season, and want to make it a really good one.
Tate, what's going to make this a good year for you?
I think everybody wants to win a sectional, and with us moving to a new sectional this year with Marion and Culver Academies, I think that's what we got to do. We got to go in there. We got to try to win our sectional. That's the goal.
New sectional, new conference. Whole lot of new for the guys at Logansport. But trust me, the same old wing T offense. That's not going anywhere anytime soon. Tate and Chris, thank you for the time, guys. And again, it's great to have you here on the show for the first time.
Yep.
Thank you.
The Logansport. Okay, I changed my mind. Let's not go to break just yet. I forgot one question I wanted to ask. Do you guys have to explain why Felix the Cat is everywhere when you go to Logansport, when you're the Berries?
Yes.
All right. Yep. With your dad as the AD, I'm putting all the pressure on you. Explain the Felix the Cat story for those that don't know it.
Okay, so back in like the 20s, Felix was a cartoon, and the basketball team, they carried around a stuffed Felix the Cat, and they brought it with them to the game for good luck. And they started doing that in 1926, and that's why Felix the Cat is our mascot.
Brian is beaming with pride. Watching that right there. Thank you, fellas. Appreciate it. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. Back with more in a moment. We'll talk to the Cass Kings when we come back right here on the ISC Sports Network. Cass King's going to round out the program for us today on the ISC Sports Network. Clay Mannering now in his 5th year as the head coach, but literally Cass football has been his lifeblood ever since he can remember, with Dad being the longtime head coach. Griffin Wolf and Jesse Seepin kind enough to join us as well. We'll get to Jesse and Griffin coming up in a matter of moments. Clay, it is always good to see you. I know you've been a big fan of our last 2 Monon Bell broadcasts on the ISC Sports Network. When he's not a Cass King, he's at a Paw Tiger, so we love to talk about that as well. Just your thoughts as to what the offseason and summer's been like for your kids and readiness for the season to start.
Well, it's been a really good offseason. I was just showing these guys a minute ago. We do a fitness test at the end of every summer. We test 14 events, and this is the strongest we've been. It's the fastest we've been in the last 5 years. And one of the really fun things about coaching high school football is I threw our depth chart up last November, and it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know how we're going to win a game. But then you throw that same depth chart up in late July, and it's like, hey, we might have something here. So, the guys have worked hard. They literally get bigger and stronger and faster and more mature and all those things. And so I'm really pleased with the offseason we've had and really the last 4 off seasons for these guys. So.
Well, let's talk about a specific event, because we had Caleb Small on earlier in the show, and he talked about coming to your place for a lifting event at the end of February and March. More and more schools are doing that. How has that helped you get ready for the football season?
It's been good. This is the first time we've done it. When I was in school, it was always a staple. We'd go to Hamilton Heights or somewhere, and I've been waiting for somebody to put it on for the last 4 years, and finally it's like, well, what are we waiting on? We've got a great facility, and let's do it here. And so Caleb was great. He came over, and it was funny. I talked to Caleb in November. We go way back, and he was asking me about Northwestern, and I was saying all good things. And about 5 minutes into the conversation, I was like, "What am I doing? I don't want him to take that job." But he will do an outstanding job there, and they join our conference this year, so we're excited to renew that rivalry and. Yeah, it'll be good.
Well, you've got 8 conference games. The one that you don't have is the first game out of the chute, and it's your big rivalry game in Pioneer. Your thoughts about that clash to kind of kick off the season?
It's huge. Last year we finished 6-5, and to me there were 2 really disappointing games. We dropped week 1 to Pioneer, and after having beaten them the year before. And I think what we didn't understand or realize is we'd beaten them 2 years ago. That's about all they probably thought about in the offseason,
right.
was beating Lewis Cass. And you can imagine what we've been thinking about now this offseason. So that's a great test right off the bat. Very similar teams. They're well coached. And that'll be, really a really good benchmark for where our season's going to go. So that's an important one for us. It's important to our community. And I get reminded by the farmers all the time who have to see the Pioneer farmers, that's an important one for them. So it is a big one, and one we hope we can get.
It is a big part of life in Galveston, Walton, et cetera.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Tell me about your senior class and these 2 young men to my right.
Yeah, we've got 8 seniors. It's, to me, a really special group. We were debating earlier, as 8th graders, I don't know, we're not sure whether they scored a touchdown or not that season. And so they were a group that struggled early on, but they've really, really worked hard. And like I said, they're the strongest group we've had. They're now the fastest group we've had since I've been there. And so these guys kind of embody that. Griffin here is a senior quarterback. He has been a backup to a 30-game starter. So at any time in the last 30 games, Griffin could have gone in. He just played behind a really good player in L.J. Hillis. But he's exactly what you want. Now's his time, and he's ready to step in. And he's gotten a little bit of time on defense, but I'm excited about how he's run the offense this summer. Jesse Seepin's a fun story. As a sophomore, he was really probably not ready to play. But we had a kid above him who played center, and he missed a week during the summer, and Jesse hopped right in and then just literally never gave it back. He would not allow the other kid to pass him back up, and so Jesse's going to be a 3-year starter for us at the center position. He'll play D-line as well. Then we have 6 other seniors. Braylon Mayhill is going to play tight end this year. We have 2 other returning O-linemen, and Brody Williams and Nick Park. We've got Colton Young at split end, who's going to have a nice season. Trevor Rouse, our fullback, he rushed for just under 1,000 a year ago. And then Johnny Mack at halfback, who's probably turning into one of our more valuable players. So I think that's all of them. Did I get them all, boys?
You're returning that level of stats. It could be a good year in Cass County. So with that, I'll turn to the right and talk to the quarterback and then the quarterback of the offensive line in terms of Griffin and Jesse. So first of all, guys, thanks for being here. And Griffin, obviously, you had to show a lot of patience the last couple of years, waiting for your opportunity to sling the rock. Now knowing that's here, just your thoughts about knowing, hey, this is my job going into the fall.
Yeah, I mean, the past 4 years I've been a backup, and I mean, I've been ready to go in, but LJ, he just never came out. Last year he hurt his hand, and I thought maybe I'd get a chance, but he powered through it. And then last year I played defense near the end of the season, safety, and hopefully I can play safety again this year.
So, Jesse, you hear me say quarterback of the offensive line. Just what sort of line calls are you giving out on a play-by-play basis at the center position?
I try to speak every play. I got to tell what the guard's doing. If he's leaving, I'm going away. If he's staying, I'm staying forward. If we do a pass protection, I go for going zone right, zone left, who's blocking who. If we're double teaming, got to know what's going on.
Obviously, all of those snaps, most of them were with the previous quarterback.
Yes.
What's the relationship like between the two of you guys?
So far, we've been really good. Height difference a little bit, not a shotgun, but other than that, yeah.
All right, what has the offseason been like? Griffin, we'll start with you. You put in the work now to be successful later in the month of August. Just what's the offseason conditioning workout been like for you?
We have weights not anymore, but during the summer we have weights 3 days a week, and then in July we have practice 5 to 7, and we've been conditioning because last year, our first game, lost to Pioneer because we weren't well conditioned. So we've been working on that a lot this offseason.
Jesse, every position in football gets better with age, gets better with being in the weight room, but especially you are literally at the point of attack to start every play. Having that another year to mature, another year to be in the weight room, what does that mean for your game coming up this your senior year?
It means a lot. Being the fastest first step, I'm right on the ball. I've got a nose that I have to block every single time. Just my first attack, first step, being the strongest as I possibly can be is crucial.
All right, so with that, let's talk about something that Griffin touched on. Big rivalry out of the gate, kind of like the Logansport guys with Peru. For you guys, it's your cross-county rival in Pioneer. How much have you been thinking about them this offseason?
I've been thinking about it since probably shaking hands at the end of that game.
Right.
Just the feeling of we could have had that one.
Yeah.
That's one we should have had.
I get that. Griffin, what's going to make this a good – obviously the rivalry game is first. Big picture, what's going to make this a good senior year for you?
I mean, I want to have a better record than last year.
Yeah.
The past couple years we've had about the same record, and I want to go far in the sectional, win it, hopefully, and go far in the playoffs.
Jesse, what's going to make this a good year for you and your teammates?
Winning the conference, beating a big rivalry, Rochester, the team we lost to last year, just making it far. Yeah.
Sounds good. Fellas, congratulations on what you've done to get to this point. Best luck this season. Clay, it's always a pleasure to see you. Good luck to you and the Kings the rest of the way.
Thanks a lot.
We'll stay tuned, and we'll wrap it up when we come back to Kokomo next, right here on the ISC Sports Network. Well, as always, thanks to Craig and Brandon and everybody involved from our friends at Coca-Cola of Kokomo. They have been a wonderful partners of ours on ISC almost from day number one. And I can tell you, I look forward to doing the basketball version of this show coming up a couple of months from now. Our ISC Sports Network staff is tremendous. They were all in like different states a couple of days ago. So thank you to Jordan Shue, Vince Morales, as well as Charlie Hammock. Thanks to the coaches and players that are so giving of their time. We try to time out this show every year, kind of right as the off-season workouts end and before practice starts. And, oh, yes, one more important thing, before they all go back to school. So thanks to those coaches and players for threading that needle and joining us. We wish the best to all of your teams. Want to see as many of them play deep into November as possible. Remember, CC Kokomo always has more information about what the good folks at Coca-Cola of Kokomo do on a variety of fronts, sports-related or not, school-related or not, right here in the community of Howard County and beyond. For everybody involved in this show, thank you so much for making us a part of your preseason routine for high school football. Games kick off on August 23rd. Of course, we'll have you covered with dozens of them seemingly on a day-by-day basis right here on the ISC Sports Network. Thanks for